Belgium is a small country in Europe, smallest in the area that the state of Haryana. He has bordered with France, the Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. Is the population of the little over the crore, about half of population of Haryana. The ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. Of this country, total population 59% live in the Flemish region and speak Dutch language. Another 40% live in the Wallonia region in speak France. Remaining 1% of the Belgian speak German. Its capital city Brussels. 80% people speak France, while 20% Dutch speaking. The minority France-speaking community was relatively rich and powerful. This was resent by the Dutch-speaking community, who got the benefit of economic development and education much later. This led to tension between the Dutch-speaking and French-speaking community. During the 1950-1960, the tension between the two communities was more acute in Brussels. Brussels present a special problem. The Dutch-speaking people constitute a majority in this country, but the majority in this capital. Let us let us compare this to the situation is another country. Sri Lanka is a island nation just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu. It has about 2 crore people, about the same as Haryana. Like other nations in the South Asia region, Sri Lanka has a diverse population. The majority social group are the Sinhala speaking 74%, the Tamil speaking 18%. Among the Tamil, there are two subgroups. Tamil natives of the country are called Sri Lanka Tamil, 13%. Their rest whose for further come from India as plantation work during the colonial period are called Indian Tamil. Are you are you see from the map? Sri Lanka, Tamil Nadu are concentrate in the south, north, and east of the country. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while most of the Tamil are Hindu or Muslim. There are 7% of Christian who are both Tamil and Sinhala. Just imagine what could happen in situation like this in Belgium. The Dutch community could take advance from this numeric majority and force its will on the France and German speaking population. This would push the conflict among community further. This could lead a very messy partition of this country. Both the side would claim control over Brussels. In Sri Lanka, the Sinhala community enjoy an even bigger majority and could impose its will on the entire country. Now let us look at what happened in both this country. Majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka emerged as the independent country in 1948. The leaders of the Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over government by virtue of their majority. As a as a result, democratically elected government adopted as a series of majoritarian suit to establish Sinhala supremacy. In 1956, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as the only official language, thus disregarding Tamil. The government followed preferential policies that favored Sinhala application for university positions and government job. A new constitution stipulated that the state shall projected and fostered Buddhism. All this government issue coming one after the other gradually increased that feeling of alienation among the Sri Lanka Tamil. They felt that none of the major political parties led by Buddhist Sinhala leaders were sensitive to their language and culture. They felt that the constitution and government policies denied them equal political region, discriminated against them in getting job and other opportunity and ignored their interest. As a result, the relation between the Sinhala and Tamil community strained over times. The Sri Lanka Tamil launched parties and struggle from the recognition for Tamil as the official language for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and job, but their demand for more autonomy to province populated by the Tamil was um, repeatedly denied. By 1960s, several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil element in northern and eastern part of Sri Lanka. The distrust between the two communities to widespread conflict. It soon turned into a civil war. As a result, thousands of people of both the community have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees and many more lost their livelihood. You have read about Sri Lanka excellent record of economic development, education and health, but the civil war has caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural, and economic life of the country is in date of 2009. Accommodation in Belgium. The Belgian leaders took a different part. They recognized the context of regional difference and cultural diversity between 1970 and 1993. They amended their constitution for four times so as the work of the agreement and that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. The arrangement they worked out is different from any other country and is very innovation. However, some of the elements of the Belgian model constitution prescribed that the number of Dutch and French-speaking ministers shall be equal in central government. Some special law required the support of majority of member for the linguistic group. Thus, no single community can make decision unilaterally. Many powers of the central government have been given to state government of the two regions of the country. The state government are not subordinate to the central government. Brussels has a separated governments in which both the communities have equal representation. The French-speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels because the Dutch-speaking community has accepted equal representation in the central government. Apart from the central and the state government, there are the third kind of government. This community government is elected by the people belong to one language community, Dutch, French, and German speaking, no matter where they live. This government has the power regarding culture, education, and language related issue. You might find the Belgian model very complicated. It indeed is very complicated even for people living in Belgium, but this arrangement have worked well so far. They happen to avoid civic strife between the two major community and the possible division of the country on linguistic line. When many countries of Europe come together to form the European Union, Brussels or choose and their headquarters. What do you learn from these two story of Belgium? Both are democrat, democracies, yet and they dealt with the question of the power sharing differently. In Belgium, has the leaders have realized that the unity of the country is possible only by respecting the feeling and integrated of different community and regions. Such a realization resulted in mutually acceptable arrangement for sharing power. Sri Lanka show us a contrasting example. It shows us that if a majority community want to force its dominance over other and refuse to share power, it can undermine the unity of country. The power sharing is described thus two different set of reasons can be given in favor of power sharing. Firstly, power sharing is good because it helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups. Since social conflict often leads to violence and political instability, power sharing is a good way to ensure that stability of political order, imposing the will of majority community over other may look like an attractive option in the short run, but in the long run it undermines the unity of the nation. Tyranny of the majority is not just oppressive for the majority, often bring around the majority as well. There is a second deeper reason why power sharing is good for democracies. Power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. Power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. A democratic rule involves sharing power with those affected by its exercise and who have to live with its effect. People have a right to be consulted on how they are to govern it. A legitimate government is one where citizens through participation acquire a stake in the system. Let us call the first step of reason prudential and the second moral. While prudential reasons stress that power sharing will bring out better outcome, moral reason emphasizes that very act of power sharing as valuable. In the city of Beirut, their live tradesman killed Khaled has parents come from different community. His father was a Christian and mother's a Sunni Muslim. This was not a uncommon in this modern Mohammedan city. People for various community that lived in Lebanon came to live in this capital, Beirut. They lived together, intermingled, yet fought a better civil war among themselves. One of Khalil's uncles were killed in the war, At the end of the civil war, Lebanon's leaders come together and agreed to some basic rule for power sharing among different community. As per these rules, the country president must belong to the um, um, Mero- Mennonite sect of Catholic Christian. The prime minister must be from the Sunni Muslim community. The post of deputy prime minister is fixed from Orthodox Christian state, and this is the speaker of Shias Muslim. Under the pact, um, the Christian aggregate not to seek branch protection, and the Muslim aggregate not to seek unification. Neighboring state of Syria. When the Christian and Muslim came to the agreement, there was nearly equal in population. Both sides have continued to respect this agreement. Though now the Muslims are the clear majority, not like this system on side. He is popular man in politician ambition, but under the present system, the top position is out of his race. He does not practices either his father's or mother's religious and does not wish to know by either. He cannot understand why Lebanon cannot, like any other normal democracy, just hold an election, allow everyone to contest, and however wins maximum vote becomes the president, no matter which community he come from. Why cannot we do that like other democracies of the world? He asks his leader, who have seen bloodshed of the civil war, tell him the present system is the best guarantee of peace. The history was not finished, but they had reached the TV tower when they stop every day. Um, Vital orbit up quickly and stop it every day. Battled orbit up quickly and post his customary portion and to Bikram. If you had the power of rewrite the rule in Lebanon, what would you do? Would you adopt the regular rules, follow everyone as Khalil suggests, or stick the old rule or do something else vital? Do not forget the remained background of this basic base. If you have an answer in mind and yet do not speak up your Mobile will freeze, and so you will. Forms of power sharing. The idea of power sharing has emerged and opposition to the nation of undivided political power. For a long time, it was believed that all power of a government must reside in one person or group of persons located at one place. It was felt that if the power to decide is dispersed, it would not be possible to take quick decision and to enforce them. But this no- notion notion have changed with the emergence of democracy. One basic principle of the democracy is the people are the source of the political power, and democracy people rule on themselves through institution of self government. In a good democratic government, due respect is given to diverse group and view that exist in a society. Everyone has a voice of the shaping of public policy. Therefore, it follows that a democracy politically power should be distributed among as many citizens as possible. In the modern democracy, power sharing arrangement can take many forms. Let us look at the some of the most common arrangements that we have or will come across. Power is shared among different organs of government, should as the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Let us call the horizontal distribution of power because it allows different organs of government placed at the same level to exercise different powers, such as a separation ensure that one of the organs can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the other. This result in a balance of power among various institutions. Last year we studied that and democracy, even through ministers and government officials exercise power, they are responsible to the parliament or state assembly. Similarly, although judges are appointed by the executive, they can check the functioning of the executive or law made by the legislator. This arrangement is called a system of check and balance. Power can be shared among difference level is general government for the entire country, and government at the provincial or regional level should general government for the entire community is usually called federal government in India. We refer to it as the central or union government. Um, the government is the provincial or regional levels are called a different names in different country in India. We can them state government, and this system is not followed in this country. There are many countries where there are no provincial or state government, but in those country like ours, where there are different levels of government, the constitution clearly lays down the powers of different level of government. This was this is what uh, this is with not in the detail in Belgium, but the refuse in Sri Lanka. This is called federal division of power. The same principle can be extended to level of government lower than the state government, such as the municipality and panchayat. Lest as called division of power involve higher and lower level of government. Vertical division of power, we should study this at some length in this next chapter. Power may also be shared among different social groups such as the regions and linguistic group. Community government in Belgium is a good example of this arrangement. In some countries, there are constitutional and legal arrangements whereby socially weaker section and women are represented in the legislature and administration. Last year, we studied the system of reserved constituencies in assemblies and the parliament of our country. This type of arrangement is made to give space in this government and administration to diverse social group who otherwise would feel alienated from the government. The method is used to give minority community if share in power in united into. We shall look at various ways to accommodation social diversities. Power sharing arrangement can also be seen in the political party pressure group and movement control or influence those in power. In a democracy, the citizen must have freedom to choose among various content for power. In contemporary democracies, this takes the form of competition among different parties. Such competition ensure that power do not remain in one hand. Power do not remain in one hand. In this long run, power and share among different political parties that represent different ideology and social group. Sometimes this kind of sharing can be direct, where two or more parties from an alliance is elected by the colonization government and selected by they from a coalition government and the shared power in the democracy. We find interest groups such as those of trends, businessmen, industrialization, farmer and industrial work, and they also never share in government power either through participation in government committee or bringing influence on the decision making process. And unit 3 shall study the working of political party, pressure group and social movement. Federalism overview. In this previous chapter, we noted the division different level of government is one of the major form of the power sharing is modern democracy. In this chapter, we focus on this form of power sharing. It is most commonly referred to as federalism. We begin by describing federalism in general terms. The rest of the chapter tries to understand the theory and practice of federalism in India. A discussion of the federal constitutional provision is followed by an analysis of the politics and policies that he strengthened them. Federalism is practiced toward the end of the chapter. We turn to the local government, new and third tier of the Indian federalism. What is federalism? Let us get back to the contrast between Belgium and Sri Lanka that we saw in last chapter. You would recall that one of the changes made in the constitution of Belgium was to reduce the power of the central government and to keep those power of the regional government. Regional government exist in Belgium even earlier. They had their role and power, but all this power were given through the government and could be um, withdrawn by the central government. Um, the change that took place in 1993 was that the regional government were given constitutional power that were no longer dependent on the thus Belgium shifted from a unitary to a federal form of government. Sri Lanka continues to be, for all practical purpose, a unitary system where to national government has all the power. Tamil leaders when Sri Lanka uh, to become a federal system. Federalism is a system of government in which the power of divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Usually, a federation has two levels of government. One of the government for the entire country. This is usually responsible for any subject of the common national interest. The other are government at the level of province or state that look after much of day by day administering of their state. Both this level of government enjoy their power independence from this other. In this sense, federation are constructed with unitary government under the unitary system. Either there is only one level of government is the subunit or subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass one order to the provincial or the local government, but in the federal system, the central government cannot order the state government do not something that the government has power of its own from it is not answerable to the central government. Both this government are separately answerable to the people. Let us look at some of these features of the federalism. These are two or more levels or types of government. Different types of government govern the same citizen, but each other duration in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. The jurisdiction of this respective level of their government are specific in this constitution. So the existence and authority of each Their is constitutionally granted. The fundamental provision of the Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed. Such require the consent. The provisions of the Constitution cannot be mm, unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such change require the consent of both level of government. Courts have the power to interpret the Constitution and the power of different level of government. The highest court act any umpire if dispute area between different level of government in this exercise of their respective power. Source of revenue for each level of government is clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. System thus has dual objective to safeguard and promote unique of the country while at the same time accommodate regional diversity. Therefore, two aspects are crucial for the institution and practice of federalism. Government at different levels should agree to same rules of power sharing. They should also trust that each would abide by this part of the agreement, and the ideal federalism has both respected trust and agreement to live together. Strict balance of power between the central and the state government varies from of federation to another. This balance depends mainly on the historic context in this federation was formed. There are two kind of routes through this which federation has been formed. The first route involved independent states coming together one other one to form a bigger unit so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity they can increase their security. This type of coming together federation include the USA, Switzerland, and Australia. In this first category of federation, all the constituent states usually have equal power and are strong federal government. The second route is large country decide to divide its power between the um, constituent state and the nation government. India, Spain, and Belgium are examples of this kind of holding together federation. In this second category, the central government tend to be more powerful, very often different constituent unit of the federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted a special power. What make India a federal country? We have earlier seen all small countries like Belgium and Sri Lanka face so many problems of mapping diversity. Not about a vast country like India with so many languages, regions, and areas. Where are the power sharing arrangement in this country? Let us bring the constitution. India and emerged as an independent nation after the painful and bloody partition. Soon after independence, several provincial states become a part of the country. The constitution declared India is a union of states, although it did not as the word definition federation. The India Union is based on principle of federalism. Back the seven features of realism mm, mentioned above, we can see that all these features apply to the provisions of Indian Constitution. The Constitution originally provides for the two-tier system of government, the Union government or what is called the central government, representing the Union of India, and the state government. Later, a third tier federalism were added in this form of panchayat and municipality. As an federation, this difference tier enjoys separate jurisdiction. The country clearly provides an three-fold distribution of legislative power between the union government and the state government. Thus, it is contain three lists. List includes subjects of national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication, and country currency. They are included in this first because we need a uniform policy of this matter through the country. The union government also can make law related to the subject mentioned in this union list. State list contains subject of state and local importance such as policy, trade, commerce, agriculture, and irrigation. The state government alone can make a law related to the subject mentioned in this state list. Concurrent list included subject of the common interest to the both union government as well as the state government such as education, forest, trade union, marriage, adoption, and success. Both the union as well as the state government can make law on the subject mentioned in this list if their law conflict with each other. The law made by the union government will prevail. Not about subject that do not fail in any other three listed, or subject like computer software that come up after the constitution are made according to the constitution. The union government has the power to legislate on this residuary subject. We noted about that most federations that are formed by holding together do not give equal power to the constitution unit. Thus, all state and India Union do not have identical power. Some states enjoy a special status. Jammu and Kashmir has its own constitution. Many provisions of this Indian constitution are not applicable to the state without the approval of the state assembly. Indians who are not permanent resident of this state cannot buy land or home here. Similarly, special provision exists for some other state of India as well. There are some units of the India Union which enjoy very little power. These are areas where are too small to become an independent state but which could not be merged with any existing system. These are like Chandigarh and Lakshadweep are the capital city of Delhi are called Union Territory. This territory do not have the power of the state. The central government has special power in running this area. This sharing of power between the union government and the state government based on the structure of the constitution is not easy to make change this power sharing arrangement. This parliament cannot on its own change this arrangement. Any change it is be first passed. How is federalism practiced? Constitution provide and are necessary for the success of federalism, but these are not sufficient. If the federalism experiment and success of India, it is not merely because of this clearly laid out constitutional provisions. The real success of federalism in India can be attributed of this political or country that ensure this the spiritual of the federalism respect for diversity of and desire of living together becomes sharing idea in our country. State. The creation of linguistic state was the first and a major test of the domestic political in our country. If you look at the political map of India, when the began a journey of democracy in 1947 and this that of 2017, you will be surprised by the extent. Some old states have vanished and many new states have been created. Area, boundary and names of states been changed. In 1947, the boundary of several old states of India were changed in to create state. This was done to ensure the people who speak that the some language like some state are create not be basic language but